Hi peeps, my name is Zina and I'm aging ethically. And today I thought we'd have a little bit of like a chit chat, get ready with me. Something happened to me yesterday that kind of like hurt my feelings. I wanted to share this story with you. And while I'm telling you this story, I'm going to be getting ready because I have to head out again. And if you hear, by the way, my air conditioner kick on for the next like couple months, it's going to happen. I'm going to leave that in here only because there you go. Because, you know, I'm here with my dogs in Phoenix, Arizona, and it is very, very, very hot right now. And I'm not going to make us suffer by turning off the air conditioning while I'm filming these videos. But anyway, I'm going to get into this story. I have been single now for about 2 years, and I've recently thought that maybe I should get back out there and start dating again. Like, I've been having these dreams that I'm happily in a relationship and I'm traveling with someone and I'm having a good time. I don't know, and I thought that maybe like my subliminal self was saying that, you know what, Zina, it's time to get out there and start dating again. In the past, I have made mistakes in relationships. I was immature, or, you know, I wasn't ready to be in a long-term relationship, or I was ready to be in a long-term relationship and my boyfriend was not. And I was dating emotionally unavailable people, and it disappointed me to the point where I just stopped dating altogether. And these last 2 years being single have been so fulfilling and so wonderful to kind of like get to know myself. I have never felt more comfortable in my own skin. So I think that it's good. I think it's good to be single for an amount of time to really get to know yourself and to appreciate yourself and rely on yourself and realize how strong you truly are on your own. I was not on a date yesterday. I was just out. I was at a bar and there were two older ladies there, two older gentlemen there, and another older gentleman next to the two older gentlemen. So there were 6 of us in close proximity. So we just started talking and whatnot. Now the 2 older gentlemen were single, and very much so, because they had no problem telling us all repeatedly how single they are. And it kind of captured my attention because I too am single, and the way the conversation was going, it felt really comfortable, and it felt like we could all just sort of, you know, be open and talk about experiences, you know. We just started talking about where we're from and this and that, and the one single gentleman that came in the pair of 2 gentlemen, he was telling a story of how he had like a heart attack at one point in his life when he was in his 40s, and he died, and that he went to heaven, but they kicked him out of heaven and he was sent to hell, where he met Satan. Okay, he met Satan, and Satan said that he was too much to handle. So he sent him back up to this earthly plane and revived him from his, you know, cardiac failure. So he told us all that he met Satan. Okay, so the ladies are looking at each other. I was kind of like, okay, that's an interesting story. Now, I like unique people. I guess I gravitate toward people, or unique people gravitate toward me. I don't know which way it is, but it is. And I'm okay with that, you know? So I love like eccentricities and stuff. I think it's really cool. And I feel great when people are comfortable enough to share their eccentricities with me. At this point, I am really not sharing too much about myself, but they could tell that I was intrigued by the conversation, and the conversation shifted back to being single. We started discussing where we were all from. Now again, there was the one single gentleman, the 2 single gentlemen, myself, and then the 2 older ladies, and they were just enjoying a little girls' day out. So I mentioned where I was from and where I've lived in New Jersey, and I lived in Pennsylvania. And when I started talking about Pennsylvania, the guy who had the heart attack and met Satan, he goodness, he knew exactly where I used to live, to the point where he actually knew where I used to work, one establishment that I used to work at. So we were talking about how you know, fun it was, and it was a really neat place, and the owner was, you know, very memorable, very charismatic. And it's so funny, like, I meet people all the time and in my line of work and bartending and whatnot, and it's amazing how many people know of this one establishment that I used to work at in the Poconos, the Tannersville Inn. And the owner, Steve, was very charismatic, very memorable. And if you ever went to that establishment when he was alive, he's since passed away, you had a wonderful time. I mean, he was a showman. He would get up on stage, he would sing with the performers, he would do all kinds of, you know, philanthropic work. Like, he was very generous, and I think he was a former cop from New York and New Jersey, and so he knew all the firefighters, knew everybody. We had a great time, and it was a really fun place to bartend. I couldn't believe that he knew Steve, Big Steve from Tannersville Inn. So we were talking about that, and it was a great conversation. We were saying how, like, awkward it is to go on dates. Some of the things about dating that are problematic, like their biggest gripe, the two single guys, was catfishing. Like, they've met women, you know, in their 50s and whatnot, who say they're athletic, or their build is athletic, when they truly are not. I'm thinking to myself, well, maybe, you know, their definition of athletic is different than yours. You know, maybe they do different activities and they feel like they're in shape, and therefore they put athletic. I don't know. I don't know if they're expecting, you know, these two guys are expecting women to be like swimsuit models and, you know, to be in perfect shape their entire lives, and that's what they mean by athletic, is to have the body of a 20-year-old when you're 55. I don't know if that's what they're expecting, but these two guys were not in great shape, okay? And I sat there and I watched them both eat. This wasn't a vegan restaurant, so I watched them both eat big, huge steaks, okay? And which shocks me, the guy that was talking about his heart attack, that he died, met Satan, he's eating a steak. It's like, you know, you think he would have maybe altered his diet a little bit. But anyway, I digress. They were, you know, commiserating with me and saying that the pictures aren't what the women look like in real life. And, you know, I've altered pictures myself. I get it. You know, if you're on these dating websites, you always wonder if the person really looks like that. And I've done dating sites before and gone out on dates a few years ago, and most likely the gentlemen are pretty honest about their pictures. In my experience, there was one fellow who, when I met him, was clearly much older than his picture, but, you know, he was still handsome. He was just a little bit older, and it didn't really bother me. These guys were very bothered by the catfishing that goes on dating sites, and they were going on and on and on about it, and I was basically more or less listening to them. Now, the single guy that was sitting on the other side of them really wasn't contributing much to the conversation. Neither were the two ladies. So I found that over time, I was basically listening to these guys go on and on about their life, their experiences, what they don't like, what they're looking for, their preferences, where they like to travel, what they like to do, you know, what kind of women they're looking for. And I just sat there and listened, like I often do. I'm a very good audience. I don't have a problem saying that. I laugh at everybody's jokes, and I contribute to the conversation. I try to be like comical and funny and keep it light pretty much wherever I go, you know? And I make a lot of jokes. I'm kind of a jokester. This is a really dark brow I'm putting on today for some reason. Oh well, I'm just gonna go with it. I don't care. Now, I'm kind of like excited to have this conversation with these men, because to be honest with you, you know, I'm thinking about dating again and getting out there and putting myself out there and being like vulnerable again, you know? And I thought it was really cool that this situation was happening, because I can kind of get like a taste of what it would be like to be out there in the dating world again. They told me that people in Arizona are very fake, that women in particular And I was slowly beginning to realize their misogyny as they were talking. Like, you know, they're in their mid-50s and they were kind of bitter in a way about being single. And whereas, you know, I'm 47 and I'm not bitter about being single. I'm kind of enjoying it. And I don't know. I enjoy being single. I enjoy being in relationships. And I feel comfortable in both. But these two guys seem to be not too happy about being single and putting a lot of blame on the women that, you know, they're trying to date. And they were saying that the women here are fake. Like, they may talk about their money and they really don't have any, or they don't have jobs, or they want to be saved, or they want to meet a sugar daddy and they just don't want to work anymore, and they look younger in their pictures, and they're, you know, heavier than they are in their pictures, and so on and so forth. So I was starting to get the picture that these guys were just kind of hating on women in general. And basically all that I added to the conversation is that, you know, I've made some bad choices in relationships throughout my lifetime. And whereas recently I thought I made pretty good choices, but the guys ended up being, like I said, you know, emotionally unavailable, or the timing was wrong, or what have you. I don't regret any of the relationships I've been in. I have learned something from all of my relationships, all of them. They've made me who I am today. You know, I am thankful for the exes in my life because they've helped shape me into the person that I am today. Those experiences have shaped me into the person I am today. And I'm grateful for that. And I'm quickly learning through this conversation with these two older, you know, single gentlemen, is that not everyone feels that way. Some people are actually pretty bitter about it, and they feel that they are deserving of a spectacular relationship and are unwilling to look inward, you know, to look at themselves and improve themselves. Like it's everybody else's fault for the things that have gone wrong in their lives. As these gentlemen were talking, the two ladies that were next to me were wrapping things up and paying their tab, and they were leaving and saying goodbye to everybody. And the single gentleman that was on the other side, he remained, and he was just kind of eavesdropping and watching TV, you know. He seemed to be into the conversation without actually saying anything, because he would give like these little like, or, you know, nods, or like, you know, like he was contributing, he was emoting throughout the the situation. Now, I should also say that I was in a really, really good mood when I sat down, because yesterday was fun. If you are in tune with what's happening in the beauty community, particularly with Jeffree Star products, you'll know that he had his Jawbreaker collection launch yesterday. So I was really excited because I was on the fence of whether or not I was going to order some things. I did end up ordering some things from that collection, which I will unbox on this channel for you. I'm not even going to open them. I'm going to open the boxes with you. I will not open them when they arrive. But anyway, so I was in a good mood before I even sat down. At this stage in the conversation, I'm pretty much done. Like, I've listened to these guys gripe, and, you know, the two ladies had left, and I felt more comfortable when they were there, you know, so they're gone. And then the other guy on the other side, you know, he was just kind of hanging out anyway. And I'm done with my meal and my drink and everything, so I'm ready for my check. So as I'm getting ready to go, the one guy, not the one who had the heart attack and met Satan, his buddy, he looks at me and he says, you know, I really enjoy talking to you. You seem really cool. You have the right body type that I'm looking for. I think you have a pretty face. You're my type. I want to give you my number. And, you know, let's just hang out. If that's okay with you, you know, I'd love to go out. Let's go do something or whatever. And he's not my type, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't my type, but I wanted to be nice, and I'm a compassionate person. I have empathy for people, and I give him the credit for, you know, putting his neck out there and approaching me in that way toward the end of our meeting, I guess you could say, of all of us sitting there. So it took courage for him, and I didn't want to knock him down. So I'm like, oh, that's really sweet of you. Thank you. You know, I'm just getting into this dating thing. Like, I just decided like 72 hours ago that I was thinking about dating again, but But thank you though, I really, really appreciate it. That means a lot to me, and that was very kind of you. And I'm like, if you just excuse me, I'm just gonna use the ladies' room, but it was really, really nice meeting you guys. You know, have a great day, you know. And I should say that they were wrapping things up too. Like they've gotten their check and they're leaving. So I went into the bathroom and I took a really long time in the bathroom, just fixing my makeup and just like, then I'm like, all right, I've spent enough time in here and hopefully they're gone and I'm ready to come back out. Come back out of the bathroom and they're gone, thankfully. The guy who was sitting there emoting the whole time during the conversation, you know, with his like little laughter and his giggles and his little facial expressions and whatnot, looks to me and he's like, oh my gosh, can you believe those guys? Can you believe those guys? I almost got up and moved a few times while they were talking to you. I'm like, yeah, you know, they had a lot to say. They, you know, have had some bad experiences dating, for sure. He's like, no, what they said about you. Excuse me? What do you mean? No, when you got up to go to the bathroom, the one guy that asked you out was kind of bitter that you said no. And then the other guy, the guy who said he had a heart attack and met Satan, and the guy who knew where I used to work in the Poconos in Pennsylvania, told him, don't feel bad because she was batshit crazy. What? You just sat there and told everyone how you died and met Satan, how you've been catfished, how you've been deceived by all the women of Phoenix. And mind you, these guys really, you know, they weren't exactly like GQ models themselves, okay? They had like, you know, big guts and, you know, they really weren't in great shape, nor were they athletic by any means, okay? After I listened to you? Really? Now, the cynical side of me was thinking to myself that maybe that's not what these guys said. Maybe this guy is telling me that because maybe he's trying to get with me. And that's his way of, you know, breaking the ice with me, is warning me about these two guys that just left. Maybe. Okay, yeah, maybe. But I'm like, you know what? I was in a great mood. I was happy. You know, I bought some Jeffree Star stuff. Just minding my own business. Just left the apartment. Trying to have a good, normal day, you know? Just be amongst the people in nature. I kind of wish the guy didn't tell me that. Like, I didn't need to hear that. But is that what the dating world has to offer now? Like, if I say no to you, then I'm crazy and I need to be insulted and put down. It's like, okay, look, I wasn't born yesterday. I know this is what guys do. That's like high school stuff, you know? That's high school stuff. It's happened to me before too. Like, you turn someone down, they come back at you and say something, you know, mean to protect their ego, you know? So it's not like the first time that's happened to me, but it's been a long time. And when, you know, you're dealing with mature people, you don't expect them to lash out like that, you know? You know, and addressing the crazy thing again, I am unique and I enjoy creativity and I enjoy people who express themselves. I love people who like to stay forever young, and I love energy, you know? I love self-expression. I love when people have unique looks, or they have tattoos, or they wear, you know, fun hats, you know, and they have cool style to them. What's wrong with that? You know, I would like to think that me being 47 and appreciating artistic expression, that would enhance someone's life. So after that gentleman told me what the two single guys said before they left, I was like, you know, I told the guy, I didn't really give him too much, you know, I didn't give him too much of a reaction to that. I was like, well, you know, par for the course. This is stuff that we ladies listen to, you know, sometimes it happens, because I wasn't 100% convinced that that's exactly what these guys said, because maybe they didn't say that. Maybe that was, again, like this guy's way of just trying to ask me out himself. I don't know what really happened because nobody else heard this, so who knows? So basically I was just like, yeah, awkward. All right, well, you have a good day. He's like, you too, young lady, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. He was probably telling the truth. You know, it's a little discouraging that I just started thinking about dating again, and I ran into these two jerks, and it's like, really? Is that what I have to look forward to? Is that who's out there? Is that who's out there? The guy who met Satan, and the guy, you know, the other guy who was catfished by the women playing pickleball, or I don't know. I'm going to start dating again. I'm going to make myself vulnerable again, because I believe that being in love is the greatest feeling in the world, and I'm ready to feel that again with someone. So yeah, this was a little discouraging meeting these guys. It's not going to stop me, and I still believe in love. I believe in a thing called love. I believe in a thing called love. Anyway, sorry. All right, that was crazy. I feel better that I've gotten this, you know, off my chest. I was really sad yesterday, and I had to like unpack it and kind of like digest it, and now I've regurgitated it, and I feel so much better now. My takeaway from these two jerks is that I just need to be careful. You know, no matter how comfortable you feel in a conversation, no matter how comfortable you feel meeting strangers, you know, you never know what they're thinking. You never know what their intentions are, you know, so you always have to keep your guard up. You know, it's sad, but it's true. So that's my takeaway. It hasn't really discouraged me. It kind of like, you know, took me down a peg from the excitement of getting out there and meeting people, but it grounded me, and it brought me back to reality, and it just, you know, made me realize like, hey, you know, keep your eyes open. Looking forward to unboxing my Jeffree Star stuff for you guys. That's going to be a really, really fun video. So looking forward to that. And I have some more PR stuff that I can't wait to share with you guys that I've been using for a few weeks now. And I'm ready to, you know, give you an honest review about, and some discount codes too. So that's fun. So thanks again for joining me today. Enjoy your Monday. And I post new videos every Monday and Friday, and I look forward to seeing you guys on Friday. Okay, have a great week. Bye.